How did you get over suicidal thoughts? Serious? You struggle. Life sucks. It's horrible. These are the only words that will reach a person who is suicidal. All that "it will get better" BS doesn't seem like it applies when you feel that way, so saying it doesn't help. If you want things different, then change them. Think you look bad, but a stationary bike and dumbbells force the change. Include a good diet for better results. Don't like your look? Get new clothes. You'll never feel great when you think you look like trailer trash. Talk to new people who you'll never see again to get rid of awkwardness. Life is hard. You can either let it suck because you have nothing you want, or it can suck because you're trying your best to get what you want and you don't have it yet. I still hate myself, but I lose the 40-ish pounds I gained since college. I went down 2 waist sizes. Women are still a hard one, but it's hard for guys that look better than you. I still hate myself. But I know I deserve better than what I have, and I intend to get it. Ended the toxic relationship I was in. It sounds silly, but I had to decide I wanted to be happy. I kept waiting for someone else to make me happy. I thought about how lonely I was, etc., but I never went out and sought friendship or companionship. I just had to decide that I wanted to be happy and go actively do what was needed to make myself happy. Worked out pretty well. Honestly, in my case, I feel like feeling sorry for myself was almost addictive. I would think about how bad things are, feel all sorry for myself, then get this sort of rush, and do it again. I just had to stop that. Tried it and realized it wasn't that great. The thought of how my loved ones would react barely kept me hanging on. It didn't make me feel any better, but it kept me from going through with anything. Only seeking professional help allowed me to actually get over suicidal thoughts. I tried different doctors, medications, and therapy until I finally found something that worked. Being depressed forces you to think in a certain manner. Even if I could talk myself out of things, something about that solution didn't seem real to me. Like I was falsely speaking over myself. My reasons and answers didn't seem to stick. Once the medication and therapy took hold, those thoughts started to become less frequent. I started having positive thoughts randomly sprinkled in. I started viewing myself as capable again, and appreciating what I had in my life. Over time, the suicidal thoughts stopped. I still have negative thoughts like anybody else, but they seem normal now. They aren't an obsessive ailment that completely rules my life anymore. I did it by going to university. I went to a university about 200 miles from my home, which is an awful long way in England. I did this to get away from the poison that was some of my so-called friends. It's hands down the best decision I ever made. I made so many great friends there and had so many new experiences. It was basically a fresh start for me. Now I'm a completely different person. I'm a lot happier in this life. I'm more socially active and more confident. I know it sounds stupid to run away from whatever problems you may have, and I know it won't work for everyone, but it sure worked for me. Just think about death. When you're dead, you don't exist anymore. You will at least be scared, and if you're lucky enough, you will understand you're just lying to yourself when you say you want to end your life. Nobody really wants to die. I struggled with depression and thoughts of suicide starting around age 11. By 18, I was a freshman in college, contemplating throwing myself off a building but concerned it wouldn't actually kill me. I wasn't taking any medicine for it, and I had reached out to family and friends who seemed to think I was being a dramatic teenage girl. Then, a girl who lived in my dorm building hung herself. I saw the police rush to the scene and I saw the RA's face white as a sheet, and immediately I knew what had happened and who it was. The aftermath showed me just how huge the impact of suicide is. It made me realize how selfish a choice it is and how many people are affected. I left the school to move back in with my mom, determined to get help. I played around with some medications after that, but they either made me feel like a zombie or made me jittery and anxious. Extensive research into alternate options, performed by my mom, who had the willpower to actually do things instead of just stare at the wall, suggested that gluten sensitivities sometimes manifest as mental health problems. For Lent, my mom and I went gluten-free together. I know it sounds like a fad diet with no real merit, but within the month I was feeling, not myself, because I had been sad for so long, but more in control. I have been gluten-free for over 2 years now, and I don't take any medication, don't see a counselor, don't feel like crashing my car on purpose. Life is great. Also, changing my diet and coming off meds helped me lose 20 pounds without even trying. Medication, medication, medication. Try a billion other things that may help, but before you give up, try ramping up on medication. Prozac and Klonopin worked for me. It's amazing how quickly the thoughts come back when I forget to take my meds. For 12 years I lived with them, now I have complete control and it's awesome. Gave me a life worth living. Well, basically you get at a point where you decide there are better things in life. Suicide isn't an option. It will never be. Of course that for some people, that might be a solution. But trust me, it isn't. I was having suicidal thoughts for some time. Throughout that time, my main concern was thoughts about how my parents would react if I ever acted on those. At one point, I decided that I did not want to miss the good things that would happen in my life. My point is, the one element that actually made me get over suicidal thoughts was hope. Hope that life had good things to offer, and so far it has turned out to be true. Even if I have had many good and bad experiences after that, I can say I am glad I did not miss the good ones at least. Medication and therapy and getting myself out of a really unhealthy living/work situation. Edit, I finally got help when I decided if I was going to go through all this effort to kill myself, which was definitely going to have a horrible impact on the people around me, I owed it to them to make as much of an effort to get better. So I called a crisis hotline that day, and they actually sent a counselor out to me. I had no car, no insurance, no money, in a very rural area, but I was able to get the medication and support I needed. I know this won't be the case for everybody, but for me it was about the environment I was in. Specifically the person I was with. Once I got away from her, all my depression slowly vanished and has been gone for years now. The thing is, when I was in it, I didn't even realize it was coming from her. I thought it was my own mental illness. It wasn't until she dumped me and I was free of her for several months before things began to improve. These days I feel like a completely different and so much happier person from who I was back then. I had a dream that I shot myself in the head, and became a ghost. I was 16 at the time and had already attempted before. In the dream I saw my dad's house completely refurnished, and there was a woman in her 40s walking around. She had a digital clock on the wall and the date said it was 2048. I can't express just how real the dream felt. I panicked, and tried to interact with the woman, but all I did was make her wobble a little bit, which she chalked up to being drunk, which she was. I couldn't escape the house, and no matter how hard I screamed she couldn't hear me. I was dead, I was well and truly dead. I screamed out, "I'm sorry. I wish I never did this, please. I'll appreciate my life forever." Or something to that effect. Almost as soon as I said that, I woke up in my bed, still alive. Smoking cigarettes, I have been absolutely unable to kick this addiction because of it. Whenever I would have those thoughts, I would proceed to smoke for long hours on my house roof. It was a flat roof designed for walking on. Smoking honestly saved my life once. I was inches from going through with it, but after smoking an entire pack in about half an hour my head was swimming to the point I couldn't get up from my seat and make it to the ledge. Honestly, for the amount of flack religion gets sometimes, it really has been the last line of defense for me. Having morals and rules grounded in something other than yourself really helps in those times when you can't trust yourself. Also, suicide is a lot less inviting if eternal torture is at the other end of it. Suicide is a permanent solution to a temporary problem. Your life 10 years from now will be radically better by such a wide margin that you will look back on these days and think you were an idiot. Find a decent job and take pride in it. Do a great job. If you cannot land a decent job, get a crappy job and do it well enough and long enough until you will be seen as a qualified candidate for a decent job. Repeat and keep moving up. Having a good job you care about and having the work you do means something does wonders for mental well-being. Lastly, people are lying when they say money can't buy happiness. Money is happiness. Money is the freedom to do whatever makes you happy. Money is the freedom to protect the people you care about and make them happy.